Guido, it's Guido coming out with your Tactics Talk. I got a replay from Nonamanadus, who is running his French AMX M449 Tier 8 Premium tank, heavy tank. And he is here on Tundra. I know it's Tundra. Going to head over to the west side in his heavy tank. He's a bottom tier. He's in a 357 with tier 10s to deal with. There's a Mouse over there. There's a T57 heavy. And he's got a 110E5 and a 121. There's a couple, or at least one, two on his side and one on the other arty to deal with. Let's talk about this map real quick. He's head over obviously to the key terrain of this hill. There's usually a heavy brawl going on in this corridor down here. That was an option for him, but I assume potentially he's attempting to avoid the Mouse. We'll see how that works for him. Typically you get TDs back in here, you'll get TDs back here. That's a mountain goat spot, just so you know, on that hill right there. There's also a couple on these hills over here as well. Arty tends to sit in this corner and this corner, sometimes back here for the Reds, and in all the long back here where you can see his Arty deployed as well. There's sometimes a fight on this road, snipers shooting back and forth, and you'll get guys getting down into the middle on occasion, although that's more of a late game situation right there. Usually, though, the game is won by either taking this hill and exploiting the fact that you took it quickly, or one team's heavies massacring the other team's heavies here and getting up into the backfield. Let's see what happens on this. He's obviously headed to the hill. The RU's headed over there to the T69. He's got a T32, and his 110E5 is also come over here. So while the west side is the quote-unquote heavy brawling zone, sometimes, especially if you've got a zippy heavy, or even a slow one to some extent, if you can get them over here and force the issue on this hill, that can create an advantage for you, as long as your heavy side doesn't get completely rolled up quickly. So he hits the 7-1. That was a good shot. You'll notice that the French tank has good gun depression, good front armor. That little spot where he was is a good place to fight from. The good news, however, is that they are pushing the couple of Reds that got up on the hill pretty hard, and Nonamanadus has made a good decision just to simply go up the hill and sweep these guys off. There was an option right there to cut left and go on the other side. You can do that if there's nobody over there shooting you in the side like it looks like this team has done. You'll notice if you look at the mini-map that they have quite a few tanks down here in the southwest and the Lorraine. There's a couple in the middle. That doesn't leave a whole lot for them to come up this way, although you'll notice that the Mouse is in fact trundling up the hill. So Nonamanadus may have had a second to get across there. Why you would do that is to create a crossfire on this RU and the Centurion. However, the direction he took is the safer direction. The 25 TAP has decided to stand and fight, or he's tracked, and finally he gets off the hill. Dives off, the 7-1 dies, the RU is in trouble, he dives off, and so the Greens now own the hill. And you'll see that they set up for a lot of sniper shots, and that's pretty good. The AMX M449 has good gun depression relatively, so he's able to go ahead and shoot over this little hill. You do expose yourself quite a bit to take those shots. Now you'll note that he just took a shot in the rear from HE, from the Mouse, who you will find out is not a very good player. And had that Mouse just pushed the issue right here, he may have caused them trouble. Now there is a 110E5 still up here, but none of these guys really seem to be paying attention to the Mouse. And that's kind of the story of this game. The Mouse is not doing a great job of pressing these guys. Now there are a lot of them here, but they're also seeming to completely ignore the Mouse. Where Nonamanadus is poking, there are a lot of shot opportunities, especially things like that, where guys are up on that ridge or over in those buildings, kind of where his 121 is. You'll notice that he does have to expose himself a bit to do that, but with good depression he can manage it to some extent. And the Mouse is just kind of sitting back there and not doing a whole bunch. T57 Heavy's out in the middle. Now what I'll say here, Nonamanadus did mention it when he sent me this replay to take a look at, that he kind of lost SA on the Mouse. So from a camera work perspective, in between shots or while you're looking to reposition, shift your camera around and look at that Mouse and see what he's doing. You might save yourself a shot if you're able to avoid it. You may even get a shot depending on what he's doing, but not once did you really swing back and take a look at him. Watching it on the mini-map is fine, but you can't get a good idea of what exactly he's doing if you don't look right at him. Waits for the armor he can pen. That's a nice job. Pushes up a little bit more to get the depression working. Looks like the defender's trying to hide from him a little bit, but this FV is tearing him to pieces. Nonamanadus takes him down. Nice job with the gold. Hasn't really needed it, so he hasn't been spamming it. Which is fine. Could have used it no problem, but saving himself some credits right here. And he's gone to gold because now we're going to wolf pack this Mouse. So the Mouse made a pretty bad play overall. Didn't really force much of the subject, and now he's just going to be surrounded. It's quite possible that had he come up, he'd have had this happen to him a little earlier, but he probably would have had a more manageable fight, because what's going to happen is you're going to see this FV and T-44, who are now free because they've killed several other tanks. They're going to come right up and start the smackdown on the Mouse. As soon as that turret starts moving away from you, Nonamanadus is so slow, just pop out and take that shot. In addition, and you're doing a good job avoiding damage, which is a good idea. The game isn't completely won, but you probably could be a little bit more aggressive right in there based on the hit point advantage your team has. Still, though, you cannot fault preserving HP. Looking for the back of that turret, maybe into the side. There we go. Smackaroni. And off he goes. And that is pretty much the end of this fight as far as what Nonamanadus is able to do. Comes down here. I thought he was going for the last couple hit points, but he's going to drive right up on the cap and go ahead and cap it out. I have mixed feelings about that. Usually I would go right after that E75 and whatever else it is low over there and look for a couple hit points. Actually, had you gone over this way up onto this ridge, you may have had some shots down into him and got another shot or two, a little bit more damage in there. But otherwise, good game. 2,900. Good example of taking some critical terrain and working it. Biggest mistake overall, sort of ignoring the Mouse. Not that you were going to dive down there and start fighting him, but at least camera work wise, spin around, take a look at, all right, what's that Mouse doing? I got plenty of time. He's an idiot. Nothing going on. All right, I hope you liked what you saw. I hope you learned something. If you did, make sure you subscribe, and we will see you.